Welcome to Dropping In, a podcast of storytelling and interviews with your host, Winter Olympian Mercedes Nichol.
Thank you all so much for dropping in on Series 5. This was a pretty deep series. As I said, it's 2021. It was fall when I started this series, and I was feeling super down. I had full-on seasonal depression, also known as seasonal affective disorder. I even took myself to Mexico thinking that would make me feel better. It didn't fully help. Though the vitamin D did get into my pores and I was feeling a little bit better, I still had some down days. So I'm so grateful to all the guests that dropped in on this series. I want to do a quick little recap of who we had on and what they shared. So if you're just tuning in to dropping in, you're going to want to re-listen to episode 41 through 49. I'm so proud of this series, and I know a lot of listeners have actually given me feedback and really enjoyed what they have heard, because it's just really, really tough times out there right now. The global pandemic is not helping. It doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. It's dark nights in Canada, and you know what? We all need a little bit of help, and it's okay to ask for help. That's what I did, and I'm bringing it all to you. Let's start off with episode 41. I turned to my old teammate, Dr. Dominique Valet, who has spent a lot of her life snowboarding on the hills with me, but also learning the knowledge that she has in her head of traditional Chinese medicine in episode 41 was quite mind blowing. Learning that the fall was the season of the lungs in traditional Chinese medicine. I mean, she's got some good tips. We also talked about mushrooms and different supplements that can help you. I highly recommend this episode. Check in. Then we also go to episode 42 because I wanted you to know that a lot of other people suffer from the shoulder season blues. So you'll notice all of my questions throughout this series were rapid fire questions were the same, pretty much in the roundabout the way. The last question I asked was, do you get the seasonal blues? Now, what are the seasonal blues? It's exactly what I said before. Seasonal affective disorder. It can become in the form of seasonal depression. And if you're not sure what depression is, this series, series 5, we dive deep into it with each and every guest that I talk to. But this one, episode 42 with Britt Janik, is super interesting because she is also an Olympian and shares her story about what the feelings are that she gets when she gets the seasonal blues and when she gets the seasonal blues. She is a mother of 2, and we both love golf, and that was taken away from us because in Canada, in Whistler, the golf course closed in kind of beginning of October. So we were feeling a bit lost, at least I was. So I did reach out to her prior to this, and this whole series kind of falls on her shoulders as well, because she was like, I want to be on your show. And I said, okay, perfect. So really great to listen to what Britt Janik has to say, because she also has some good mom tips for everyone out there, which I think are really helpful. I'm not a mom, but I know some moms out there would really appreciate those tips. So that was episode 42. Pro athletes get the blues too. Episode 43, we got a little more serious with Dr. Chantal Luzier. She is a guru working with NFL players, CFL players, NHL players, you name it, she's worked with them. Now, in this episode, episode 43, we talk about daily habits that support wellness. We talk about activation and relaxation. We talk about sunlight. You know those like lamps that people have? I guess they really do help. Who knew? So we dive deep into that, and that's really helpful. So there are some things that you can buy. There are some things that you can just do in your daily life. And also we talked about mental decluttering. I mean, just get it out. Get it out. Don't be afraid to talk to someone. She has so much knowledge to share with us as well. She's worked with so many people. I highly recommend episode 43 with her. Moving on to episode 44, I go back to another athlete. And I think in episode 43, Britt says, yeah, we are Olympians, but we don't have it all figured out. Newsflash, I don't think anyone has it figured out quite yet. Episode 44 with Neville Wright. He is a 3-time Olympian. He is a bobsledder, and he is now a registered massage therapist. I mean, he is gigantic. With him, we talk about vitamin D a lot. He is a big guy, and we talk about the supplements that he needs to take. But one really cool thing that he brought up is one of the key things to help with seasonal depression is exercise, and it's free. I know when it gets dark out, it's hard for me to like exercise and really get into it and be motivated. Sometimes it's good to be accountable to other people. We talk about tricks and trades of like finding out how to get up in the morning. Episode 45, I go back to another doctor. I seem to have a lot of doctor friends, and I am A-okay with that. Their advice is amazing. Dr. Chanel Smythe spent 12 years in school. She is not just a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, acupuncturist. She is a naturopath. So we really get down deep into what those supplements that we need to take are all about and what they're doing to our bodies. She talks so much about how what our bodies need and how the environment is actually telling us what to do. I love those like little insights from traditional Chinese medicine. Yeah, it's getting dark out early. Your body needs to chill out. Don't do everything that you were doing in the summer. Your body's looking at nature for the guidance, and we need to listen to that. That is episode 45 with Chanel Smythe. So good. Episode 46, we turn to professional photographer, which may seem strange. Chad Chomlak. Why would we be talking to a photographer? Because he just did one of the first men's retreats that he led this October in 2021. This retreat had men only, and they talked about breathing, they did journaling, they did sports. We figure out what they did, and we can take some of those tools and use them ourselves to help us. We talked about how the weather affects us and how I really loved how he had a positive outlook on the global pandemic. Um, it's just really beautiful when someone can flip something upside down that everyone is just so over and find the beauty in it and the positive. And that is Mr. Chad Chomlak, not just a photographer, my friends, a wonderful human. In episode 47, I turned to my Paralympian friend, Billy Bridges. Our chat, it turned out really interesting. I don't know anything about fishing. I never thought about fishing, but I mean, he sold me on it. This is his kind of a little bit of therapy. And also, if you listen to the whole episode at the end, he does talk about the therapist that he talks to and how you can go to your doctor and probably get that for free. So awesome to talk to a Paralympian that you all should be looking out for in sledge hockey this February 2022, because Team Canada, that's where he's going to be on the ice with Billy Bridges. Episode 48. We're rounding it out almost. Episode 48. I reached out to a Whistler local. She's been living here a while. She's a local. She's got a business here. Megan Suter. She is owner and she is the trainer at Peak Training Whistler and Rehab. Now, she has been on social media posting about her struggles with rheumatoid arthritis, anxiety, and depression. So open, so amazing, so what is needed on social media these days. Not the white picket fence, my friends, the real hard-hitting facts that life is a freaking roller coaster. And it ain't easy. The ups and downs, the all arounds. We dive deep into this. We talk about not using antidepressants, trying to make ourselves better, getting out of that depression. We talk about not knowing that when you're in a depression, but once you're out of it, you're like, oh, that's what depression was. So definitely listen to episode 48 with Miss Megan Suter. The last episode, I round things out with the one and only Olympic medalist Dylan Moskovich. He's figure skating legend, can I say? And a really good friend of mine. He hosted a retreat this August for athletes transitioning from sport to what I call real life. It's not an easy transition, and he has made it a little bit easier to chew. He starts off in the rapid fire, really explaining how his life has changed. He used to enjoy big cities, and now he is all about being one with nature. This vegan really just wants to be around plants and no more concrete cities. One of the best things that he brought up on this episode was in the rapid fire, I asked if you had any superpower, what would you want it to be? And his honesty and thought that went into this about being a Care Bear that could just share love out into the world. I don't think that I've had a better answer than that. Sharing the love. That's what Dylan Moskovich is all about. This episode is super interesting. I highly recommend listening to episode 49. I really know that all of these episodes have helped me pick and choose things that work for myself. I still do say I'm not a doctor. I have friends that are doctors. Go see your doctor if you are having any issues. Please reach out to your friends. It's not an easy time for any of us. And please know that you're not alone. I've had a really great time doing this series. I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave a comment, write to me, let me know how you're feeling if you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you again so much for dropping in today. I can't wait until I see you next time. For now, happy holidays. Lots of love. Thanks so much for dropping in. You can find all the dropping in episodes on the Dean Blundell Network or on your preferred podcast network, where you can subscribe and not miss an episode.